Welcome to our English lesson. We are going to take a look at composition. The type of composition we're going to take a look at is narrative composition. Narrative composition. So what is narrative composition? So narrative composition basically involves telling a story about anything. Okay? So it's about telling a story, narrating a story. Okay, so that's what narrative composition is all about. It has the introduction, main body, and conclusion. Just like any type of composition, it is made of three parts. There's the introduction, the main body, and the conclusion. Of course, don't forget the title that should always be on top. Okay, any write-up, any composition, it has the title first, then these three parts: introduction, the main body, and the conclusion. The introduction should be made of one paragraph. Okay, introduction should be made of one paragraph. The main body can be made of 3 to 4 paragraphs or 3 to 5 paragraphs. Yeah, it depends on your story or what you are writing. But the introduction, one paragraph; conclusion, one paragraph. Okay, you can use this rule and you always be getting it right. Okay, so here are some tips for narrating a story. First, make sure the introduction is so powerful so as to get the attention of the reader. Okay, when you're writing a story, the introduction is your chance to make the person who's going to read your story be attentive and to make them want to know what's going to happen next. So make sure that the introduction is catchy or it's so powerful so that someone is pushed to read more. Okay, so once you push them to read more, then you everything is going to be easy for you. So here are some examples of catchy catchy introductions that can make someone want to read more. The first: there is something that happened in my life years ago. Telling you this story makes my skin crawl. Okay, then you get to ask, if you're the one who is reading, what is it that happened that can make this person's skin crawl? Okay, so you even feel the sense of fear. Okay, looking forward to the story. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. So the introduction is your chance to sell your story to the person who's going to read it. Okay, so when you sell your story powerfully, even if you make mistakes in your composition, maybe grammatical mistakes you make, maybe spellings or punctuations, sometimes they can miss them because they are enjoying the story. They end up forgetting to look for the mistakes, if of course they are marking. Okay, so that's your job. Sell your story through the introduction. Okay, sell your story using the introduction. For me, when I was in school, I could when a test is coming, I could plan the introduction even before I see the paper, because narratives come as section A of paper 1. So there will be 2 or 3 questions where you, maybe if you are lucky, you have a chance to narrate. So I could plan in advance, maybe 1 month in advance. I'm just thinking of how powerful the title is, because I knew that was my only chance to sell my story. Okay. Another example: some people were born first, others were born to be first, but I was born both. What does it mean? Some people were born first, others were born to be first, but this person was born both as first. This person was born first and also they were born to be first. What does it mean? Okay, so you want to know that, then you end up reading the story. So do your best to make sure that your story is as catchy as possible. By the way, you can find examples, many examples of good introductions, catchy introductions, which you can steal and see how you can just learn from them or use them in a way. Okay, another example: I do not think this is the right story to tell you, but have no choice. Haha. Why? Why don't they want to tell me this story? Is it embarrassing? Are they ashamed telling me this story? Okay? So you want to read, you want to read. That's how an introduction is. That's how an introduction should be. Okay? So another tip, tell your story in a proper sequence so that the story should climax or end in the conclusion or on the paragraph before the conclusion. So to climax is, a story will start, introduction should be catchy. Then the main body, since that's when you start telling your story, the actual story, not the catchy introduction. So in the main body, it may be boring because the person has to know maybe the people who are involved in the story, the places, or maybe the issues. So as the story is going, you have to make sure that at the end it should be nice. It should be where things that people have been waiting for are going to happen. Okay, that's how a story is. You can't start a story of where the first part is nice, then the last part is boring. What kind of story is that? Why would people be listening to such a story? What are they looking forward to? Okay, those who are into movies, you know how movies start. There is the where you get to know who the main characters are. Then of course the last part where the villain is going to be to be defeated by the hero, as we like to call it in Zambia, last fight, where there's going to be a last fight if it's an action movie. Okay, because we're all looking forward to when the hero and the villain are going to meet and end the affair. So that's how a story should be. So it has to be proper sequence from the first paragraph to the last paragraph. Okay, but sometimes the sequence can be you can start at the end, then at the beginning, and then finish it. What do I mean by that? There's what we call flashbacks. I don't know those who have watched movies. Have you ever seen a movie where maybe it starts with maybe house is on fire, then there's a child inside the house, then everything stops, then the story starts. It starts. That part acts as an introduction so that someone wants to know what happened in that house. Why was the child left alone? So as the story is going, now it reach a climax where now where now the house was set on fire is going to be explained and all. Okay, so that's a trick, a good trick. Okay, but make sure that there is proper sequencing. Okay, give a proper introduction, give a good conclusion. Okay, let your main body be sequential. By sequential, I mean it should be following each other. This happened after this happened after this happened after this happened. Not where you talk about maybe something that happened in the first, then you talk about something that happened at the end. Unless you're that creative, otherwise be sequential. Okay. Another point, a narrative composition shouldn't always be about you. You can tell a story about someone else. Okay, most students that I've taught, they'll start a narrative composition like I in 2014 I was in what it is always it is always about them. It's not wrong, but a composition should not always be about you, and no one is interested in what happened to you. A story might be important to you, but the marker is not interested. A story has to be good, not because you feel maybe the question was saying write about the saddest story of your life. So you think about whatever happened to you and you feel sad about it and you want to write it. It's good because you can write creatively, because the sadness, the feelings that you are feeling can help you to write something dark or something that is sad. Okay, but it's not a rule that a story should always be about you. No one is interested in you. Okay, so people are interested in how you write a story. It doesn't matter whether it's about you or not. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say here. You can start a story. Long ago there was a girl named Mary. Okay, then you start talking about Mary. Okay, it shouldn't always be about you. Okay, also use words to connect sentences and paragraphs, like after that, additionally, consequently, as a result, moreover, however, secondly. So using these words, people will be able to know after that, mean, oh, there's something that happened, then this followed. Okay, additionally, oh, from what happened, this also happened. Okay, consequently, which simply means the same as a result. Okay, this one did this, then because of what they did, this happened. Okay, so use such ways to connect sentences so that people are able to follow your thinking or your story. Okay, so we have a question here. Write a story ending in we cannot help but always remember our hero. We cannot help but always remember our hero. So whatever you're going to write, the last sentence should be we cannot help but always remember our hero. So there's no need to panic. You just have to think about a story which, according to this sentence, it should be about a hero, okay, who did something, so we cannot forget that hero. Or sometimes you can be very creative such that whatever story you're going to write, if you put this sentence at the end, it will make sense. Okay, so I'm going to by the way, whatever story you write, the sentence before this sentence should be connect properly with this sentence. Okay, not you're talking about something else, then you just put we cannot tell but always remember our hero. No, you have to connect them such that when a person is reading, it's going to make sense that at the end you have said we cannot tell but always remember our hero. Okay, so like end composition, you need to plan. You plan properly, you list your points, then you write your points in a story. Okay, so when I was in grade 12, what I used to do was before a test, I could plan maybe 1 month. I'm planning just 2 types of compositions that I may write. Okay, I don't know the questions, but my job was to make sure that whatever story comes, I'm going to create to change my story a bit such that it suits the question. Okay, so that's what I used to do. Then also I had an issue with my teacher. I had a bad handwriting. That's why I always encourage my English students to improve their handwriting. If your A looks like a U, you won't be there to defend yourself. Okay? When the examiner is marking, you won't be there to defend yourself. Okay? So you have to make sure that whatever you're going to write, you have to write something that anyone can read. Okay? Um, for me, I had to change my handwriting a bit. Okay, I had to change. I stopped writing cursively, which we call in vernacular chikwala kwala. I stopped doing that. So I I started writing things that even a young person can read. I had to write A as just A, not slanting or cursive. No, okay. So write something that people can see. Okay. Um. So what was the result of me having a bad handwriting? I used to get low marks. Okay. I could get my composition and a friend's composition. I read a friend's composition. It's not nice. It has punctuation mistakes, but they have good marks. I look at mine, bad marks, despite having an interesting story, proper punctuation, good English. So I came to realize that my teacher was not reading my composition. He could just mark. Okay, of course, he's a human. He has lots of books to mark. So when he looks at mine, these ones are the ones who get zeros. Just gives me the same mark. He used to give me the same mark, despite what I write. So I felt my efforts were not appreciated. So I started thinking, how do I deal with this teacher? First, I have to improve my handwriting. Secondly, for me to test if he reads my composition, I need to trick him. So I decided that I'm going to write a title that is going to appear as if it has a spelling mistake. So if he comments that my title has a spelling mistake, then I'll know that he doesn't read the rest of my story. Okay? But if he doesn't comment, then I will know that he reads my story. So I'd planned a story. So when I went into the test, the question that came was write a story ending in we cannot help but always remember our hero. So I was thinking, My story was about something else. It was about someone who did something that everybody laughed. So I was thinking, how can I turn my story into this? Okay, then I spent 10 to 15 minutes planning. Then I finished my planning. I wrote my title. We cannot be forgotten. Okay, so now the issue with this title is the spelling for we, it does double E, which is wrong. So if my teacher sees this, they are going to say this is wrong. But if they read my composition, they are going to realize that it's not wrong. This is how it's supposed to be. Okay, so started my composition. It was a cold evening as we drove through the jungles of that game park. Okay, our bodies were closely packed so as to keep each other warm, and most importantly, to pray that the bus does not break down as it had done just before entering this beast infested jungle. So, this is my introduction. It is talking about a bus that was moving that evening, and it was passing through a jungle, and this bus was not in good condition. It was from just breaking down, but it was a risk that people had taken. Okay, they are on that bus. It is passing through the middle of the jungle that is infested with beasts. Okay, it has different beasts. Okay, it's supposed to be beasts with S here. Okay, it has different types of beasts. It has lions, it has tigers, whatsoever. Okay, so we fear that this bus may end up breaking on its way or on the middle of the jungle. So that's the introduction. This makes a person one story. Did they survive these people? Did they make it? Okay, it's not that catchy, but at least it is something that would want someone to know if we managed to pass through the jungle or not. Thus, this is my introduction. Going into the main body. So the main body, I said, may have 3, 4, or 5 paragraphs. Okay, so the first paragraph of my main body was this. As we progressed, 2 huge elephants had covered the road, and we had no choice but to order the driver to stop the bus. It got quiet, and after nearly half an hour, the elephants had vanished out of sight. Wow. What's happening here? Okay, so one thing I need to comment, look at my paragraphs. The way I'm starting, I'm leaving a space here, okay, or a space here. Okay, you can choose one method. I decided to show both of them so that I teach you. So you can be leaving a space here. Whenever you want to start a paragraph, you leave a space here. Or you can be starting your words from here, but you skip a line. Okay, so this is what happened now. 2 huge elephants, which made everyone to be quiet and scared. Then the elephants disappeared. Wow, that's good. So why are we reading this story? Let's go to the next paragraph. However, actually, this is not a paragraph. It's a continuation of the same paragraph. However, the bus could not start. We all shook, knocking each other in terror. Okay? Okay? On the middle of this jungle, the bus is failing to start. Okay? And the elephants were there, but they have disappeared. Who knows what's going to happen next? Okay? So same sentence, same paragraph. How many sentences are in this paragraph? Let's start with this one. The first sentence ends here, 1. The second sentence ends here, 2. Okay, that's good. A paragraph should have 3 sentences, 2, 3 sentences, or 4, even 1. It's okay. This one has the first sentence. Remember, the first sentence ends where there is a full stop. So if we follow this, the full stop is here, first sentence. Second sentence ends here. Third sentence ends here. Then there is a fourth sentence which ends here. Okay? Not bad. It continues. After multiple attempts to start, the driver suggested that someone had to go outside and look for any metallic object for jump starting the bus. So the driver said, oh, we need a metallic thing that we can use to do a process called jump starting the bus. When it got quiet, as no one was willing to make a sacrifice, a Chinese man whose name was later supposed to be known, came to be known as Wei, stood up and was ready to play hero. So this Chinese man, whose name was Wei or Wei, stood up and was ready to play hero. Okay. Inspired by the move, I volunteered too. We ventured into the thickness of that deadly jungle looking for the object as darkness crept in. Okay. As it was now becoming darker, I and we went into that jungle. Okay, looking for anything metallic that we can use. After 20 minutes or more, we were on our way back after successfully finding the object. As we neared the bus, a roar was heard from behind. As we tried to look, we heard heavy thumping of what sounded like a lioness, supposed to be a lioness, and we could not help but to run. We was faster. Okay, now we are in danger. We, upon running out of energy, aimed to climb a tree, and I knew how smart a move that was. He climbed a tree as I was passing him, knowing fully well that the beast would pounce on me. So, by the way, here it's a mistake. It's supposed to be small f here. You can't write a capital letter in the middle of the sentence unless it's a name of something or someone. Okay, so we of course climbed a tree, and I knew that whatever was chasing us, it's going to pounce on me. Okay, next paragraph. When I got tired, I had already reached where the bus was, and to my surprise, the other passengers appeared so surprised to see me in panic. Why were they surprised? As I was trying to read their faces, I heard Wei crying in his mother language. I figured out that the beast had gotten him, and I was the survivor. Getting inside the bus swiftly, I was able to see Wei, who, when climbing, had his shirt caught by a twig. A twig is like the branch of trees and the likes. Okay, yeah, that's a twig. He had somehow mistaken it to the beast's grip, and that is what made him weep. So as he was, as this person who was trying to climb that tree, a twig caught his shirt. So as he did that, he thought that it was the whatever was chasing us that caught him. Okay, so that's why he was crying. We continue. There was nothing chasing us. This is a sentence, a paragraph with just one sentence. So to conclude the story, we all called out to him, signaling him that there was nothing behind him, and that made all of us to burst into laughter. He climbed down and joined the rest of us as the bus drove off, filled with laughter. We cannot help but always remember our hero. So this is a story. It was humorous. It was funny. Okay, yeah. Then of course I achieved the objective. The last sentence, we cannot help but always remember our hero. Who? We remember him because maybe he helped us, and of course because he made us laugh. Okay, so that's how creative you should be. So this is my conclusion. A normal paragraph with how many sentences? We have the first sentence that ends here, the second sentence that ends here, and the third sentence that ends here. So that's how to enjoy writing a narrative composition. So this marks the end. Hope you have picked one or two things. The job is to practice more, to write more, and you'll become better. Okay. See you in the next lesson, which is going to be descriptive composition.